Hi there, this is Aaron. Well, as you see, I'm not actually up at my allotment at the moment. I'm not quite well enough to get up there to do any heavy digging and things, which I'm really keen to do to get things ready for next season. But before I say anything else, what I wanted to say is thank you to absolutely everyone who sent their kind thoughts and well wishes whilst I was ill in hospital, both to me and my wife. It's really sort of staggered us how much kindness came through across the web, and certainly we both appreciate it greatly, so thank you. The reason that I'm doing this video is because recently a lot of people have been asking me how I make my videos, and there have been a lot of changes throughout the year, and if I look back to when I first started making videos, which is a little while ago now, looking at how the first ones were and how they've adapted, so that there's lots of tips and tricks that I've learned, but there's also new equipment that's being used, and so I wanted to do a couple of videos just talking about those. Now, if you're not interested in how people in general make their YouTube videos and the resources that we look for, and specifically how I make my YouTube videos, then this certainly isn't for you. So please feel free, I won't be offended if you just want to skip through this and wait for the next allotment video. It'll be a little while, but I do promise that there will be one. So these are really technical videos and looking at the various aspects of filmmaking. What I wanted to talk about first was sound and how I record sound, which uses this, and I'll talk about this in a second. But first of all, let's go through the options. When I first started making videos, I used my iPhone, and then I used my iPad, and I used my iPad for quite a long time. And both of those have a built-in sound recorder with the camera, and so that's what I use. And I'm talking to you now on a camera with its built-in sound recorder. So that's fine, but increasingly what happens is that you find yourself sort of not able to move more than sort of like 1.5 meters away from the camera, which is about what I've got this set to now. So you can't do the long shots, you can't do the walking shots. What that does is it means that you are very much linked to the camera. I mean, I wouldn't be able to move very far away from the camera. So I can't do long shots, I can't do shots that I walk into with the camera at a fixed point. And certainly, what I've noticed is that a lot of videos look better if you can do that. Similarly, when you're filming outside on an allotment that may be quite exposed to the elements, any wind really does have an effect. And I've seen a lot of videos that and I've made videos that I've looked at afterwards and just thought that is completely unwatchable, because suddenly you've got the sound of the air. You can hear an aeroplane going across now, and that's probably really annoying. So because the microphone is further away from me, it picks up absolutely everything around me, and what I really want to do is to keep a sound microphone near me so that it doesn't have an effect on the actual shot that I can do. So the options that people have are, one, to do as I'm doing now, which is record sound directly into the camera. At the other end of the scale, there are radio transmitters that enable you to wear a microphone on you, and it transmits to another unit which plugs into the sound input on the camera. Now that is probably the best solution. Certainly if you can spend money to do that and get the quality of it, then that's probably the best results. Now, for a full package, you're probably looking at a unit by Sennheiser. and they cost around £700 before you've bought a microphone. That's just for the transmitter and the receiver. There is a slightly cheaper option, which is around £400 by Rhode, but either way you're still talking about an awful lot of money to be able to get good quality sound. There are consumer versions, and I've seen YouTubers such as Dale use those, and also Alberta Urban Garden, whereby they're not the full-blown professional package. There's still a transmitter and a receiver. The results that I looked at have been mixed. Certainly I know that Dale was very pleased, and I know that Stephen was very pleased. I've seen others that, you know, suggest that perhaps it wouldn't work for me, and so I didn't want to spend money on a full-blown professional package, and I was skeptical about the improvement in results I was going to get from one of the consumer solutions. So the other option is to use what could be called a field recorder. Now, this is a Tascam DR-22WL field recorder. This is a really neat little unit. It's quite slimline. It will fit into a breast pocket in a jacket, and that's why you often see me wearing the body warmer, because that's got an inside pocket that I put this into. I'm speaking to you now on the camera. So now I've switched the unit on, and the sound you're now listening to is being picked up from the recorder. Now, it has two microphones built into it, and they are what's known as cardioid. Now, what that does is it sends a heart-shaped cardio, so heart-shaped pattern out, and it will capture the sound within that pattern. It will try and block out sound outside of that pattern, so anything behind me, anything that is too far away from me. And hopefully what you're now hearing is that a lot of the background noise, and I can hear that there is another aeroplane going overhead at the moment, that background noise is significantly reduced. Now, that also means that you need to get this very close and pointed directly at the subject. Now, I've just picked the unit up and I'm now pointing it directly at me. So here is another sound test where I say, "Hi, this is Aaron. Today is Sunday, and welcome to me not on the allotment." What that does is it provides me with a better ability to record sound, and an ability then so that I can place the camera further away from me and talk to you perfectly naturally through the sound recorder. I'm going to turn it off now. So that's the first thing. What it won't do is it won't help you with the wind. So what I have is a little box of tricks, and this is the first thing. This is known as a dead cat, and what it is it's a wind muffler. The wind blows upon it so that it doesn't actually blow on the actual microphones. And what you do is you take the wind muffler, and you place it on top. So now it doesn't make any difference to the recording. So now I'm talking to you with the wind muffler on, and I'm pointing the microphone directly at me. It's got that heart-shaped recording pattern all around me. So hopefully what you can hear is that it makes no difference to the quality of the recording of the sound. But now that I've got that on, I won't get those plosives and those horrible, loud sounds of the wind blowing on the microphone. So that is a really, really good thing to get. Now, these are made specifically for this model. There are a muffler available for most models. You can also make them yourself, but I mean, given that I only paid about 15 quid for this muffler, that seemed to be a good price to pay. So certainly I'm very pleased with it. Now, a really good question is why would I get this model as opposed to another? Because there's an awful lot of models out there. I know that Rick Van Man uses a similar but slightly cheaper model to this by a company called Zoom, and it's called the H1. It's similar sized and it's designed to fit in a pocket. There is another one that Rick uses, which is its slightly bigger brother, which is the Zoom H2, and that's designed to be used in a slightly different way, but is still an excellent recorder. Now, I think that Tony uses the Zoom H1 as well, and Chris, who gave me an awful lot of advice when I was starting to look at this, he uses a slightly different Tascam model called the DR-05. So why do I use this one? Well, let's look at sort of what it does and what all of them do. This has a series of presets that set sound up in a slightly different way depending on what it is that you're recording. There is one that is if I was recording in a studio, and what I was doing was maybe playing a guitar in the studio, and so I can set that up. There's another one if I was at a rock concert and things are very loud. Then there's a preset for interviews. There's a series of them for lots and lots and lots of different environments. Now, I've played with these and I've found a preset which really works for me. And so that's obviously going to be the same on all of them. The more presets that you have, the more different environments that you can use it in. It does all the normal things such as record and play. It records onto WAV format, but it'll also record onto MP3 format. So that's useful to me. What I have on the bottom here is what's known as a gain dial. Now, what gain does is it makes the cardio pattern either bigger or smaller depending on what I set the gain to. Now, the further away I am from the recorder, the more gain I need. But also, when I give it more gain, the more background noise that I will get. So that's something to play with. It's got an output to headphones. Similarly, there is an input for a microphone. So we've got an output, we've got an input, it's got a sound card, and it's also got a little input here which enables me to connect it directly to my computer. The main difference between this and the other sound recorders that I mentioned, and the reason why I bought this one, is this little button here which says Wi-Fi. Now when I press it, I don't know if you can see that, I've now got a blue flashing light. Now what's happened is that this has turned this little unit into a Wi-Fi hub. This is my iPad, but I mean if you've got an iPhone, and there's also a similar app for Android as well. What I can now do is in the Wi-Fi settings I can see that the Tascam is showing up as a Wi-Fi hub I can connect to. I can show you this, because this now is an app that will let me control everything on the recorder. I'm just going to put this down and I am going to tell it that I'm about to start recording. So I haven't touched the recorder, I've set it remotely, and that is now recording, and you can probably hear the sound that is coming off. So that now means that I have hands-free operation of my microphone. Now that can be very, very useful for me, and let me show you how and why. Well, what I've got here is a Valbon DF-61 Tripod. Now this probably looks familiar to quite a few people, because I, like an awful lot of people, first saw these recommended on Rick Van Man's video, where he said, yeah, for the actual cost and the build quality, they're difficult to beat. So I have this. Now, of course, on top of that, there is a quick release plate that's got a standard, and I believe that's 1/4 inch tripod screw. Now on the back of the Tascam there is a screw thread that fits this. So if I just put that on now, it is plastic, the screw thread on the Tascam, and like any plastic screw thread on anything, you've got to be really careful with it, because if you over tighten it you will thread it. But as you can see, this one's going on. It's going on quite nicely. I don't want to over tighten that in case I thread it. Now that the Tascam is attached, I can use all of my tripod settings to be able to point it and tilt it so that it's pointing directly at my subject. And what I can also do is I can take my iPad, but it could just as easily be my iPhone, and I do believe that there is an app for Android as well, and I can now operate this completely remotely. Now what's actually exciting about this, and some of you may have seen quite a few years ago that Rick Van Man created a video about how to create an inexpensive boom if you have a boom operator. Now I don't have a boom operator, so I don't do this, but if you placed the Tascam on top of the 1/4 inch mount on any boom, and then used one of the many cradles that you can find that are designed to attach to handlebars, either for an iPhone, and I think that's probably best, or for an iPad if you don't mind the extra weight, then that will give you a completely hands-free, wireless operated boom microphone. And I think the potential for that, I mean, if you bought one of those, it would cost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. But you can probably make the boom, and I think it was £15 that Rick made the boom for. This model here is, it's between £80 and £100. So you're looking at potentially £95 for a state-of-the-art, remote controlled operated boom microphone, and as it is, it will fit onto absolutely any equipment you've got, whether it's lighting equipment, whether it's a tripod, whether it's a monopod, absolutely anything. So that is what makes this really special. And well, this costs, as I say, between £80 and £100. The Zoom H1 costs between £60 and £80, and the Tascam DR-05, that costs between £70 and £90. So this is a little bit more expensive, but it's not a lot expensive. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is how we actually film a shot outside using this tripod mount. So as if by magic, we're going to be outside. So we've come outside now, and it's a little bit blowy, so I've put the windsock on. You can probably also hear my cat in the background, and possibly you can hear traffic passing because we're very close to a main road. But for now, you can see that the microphone's set up. So now I'm going to show you how I use this. So what I'm actually going to do So I've now positioned this so that the microphone is just out of shot, but so that you can see me, and the microphone can fit up the sound. Just to show you the difference between what the microphone's picking up and what the camera's picking up. I'm now speaking to you on the camera. And now we're back to the microphone. So that is how I use the Tascam DR-22WL wireless microphone, and why I've chosen it from some of the others that are very, very popular. There's nothing wrong with the others, I just think that this gives me an awful lot more flexibility. Now what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to show you how I connect external microphones to the Tascam, particularly head-worn and also lapel-worn lavalier microphones. So that'll be in the next video, so if this one pleases you, please do look out for that one. But for now, that's how I use and record sound. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.